Member Goodlatte and distinguished members of the subcommittee have honored me deeply by inviting me to stand with you and among you in our common cause. I'm especially honored to be here in the year of the 15th anniversary of the Violence Against Women Act. I honor the stand that you've taken because you have the power to help survivors heal and reclaim their lives. For the past 11 years, I've played a sex crimes detective on Law & Order Special Victims Unit. The show is indeed fiction, but the fiction is based on horrific facts. Like the fact that in the time it will take us to conduct this hearing this morning, 60 individuals in the United States will be sexually assaulted. But it wasn't only the statistics that pressed the tragedy and the pervasiveness of these acts into my consciousness. It was also the letters and emails I began receiving from victims of abuse, sharing their stories, and many for the very first time. I remember I remember my breath going out of me for the very first time when the first letter came, and I've gotten thousands like it since. I responded by starting the Joyful Heart Foundation in 2004. Our mission is to heal, educate, and empower survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse, and to shed light into the darkness that surrounds these issues. I'm proud to be part of this movement that will change the way we respond to these epidemics. I've been invited here today to talk to you about the crucial piece of that response, eliminating the backlog of untested kits in the United States. While I am not an expert, I am indeed an advocate in the literal sense of the word, one who calls out to you. On behalf of the thousands of survivors whose voices, courage, and hope for justice I am honored to bring with me into this room. Every year in the United States, more than 200,000 individuals take the courageous step of reporting their rape to police. Helena said, "Finally, my nightmares have stopped almost altogether. I have a sense of security that I haven't felt in over a decade. My home is my own. My family is safe." We must urge law enforcement, after a victim has given her consent, to send in the rape kits for testing. We must provide law enforcement and prosecutors with training and tools to investigate and prosecute sexual assault cases. We must provide our inundated crime labs with funding to build their capacity. We need better technology to document the number of rape kits in storage facilities. We need public awareness to address bias of rape victims. And most importantly, we must keep the victim at the center of the reforms. And that means ensuring the victims can receive information about the status of their cases, creating protocols for victim notification with rape kit results and testing decisions, and providing short-term and long-term supportive services. At Joyful Heart, we envision a community that says to a survivor, "We're not impervious to your suffering. We will give you our ears if you wish to speak your anguish. We will lend you our voices if you cannot find yours. You've suffered enough, and your healing is our priority." You here today are all a shining example of a community that can strengthen the possibility of healing survivors because you are acknowledging, responding to, and taking action to end suffering. You have my fierce commitment to use my voice, to commit my resources, and do whatever.
We're so happy that you're here. What kind of recommendations would you leave the Judiciary Committee with?
Well, first, if I can just add something to what Ms. Worthy said. Nicholas Kristof quoted Polly Poskin, the executive director of the Illinois Coalition Against Sexual Assault, in 2009 New York Times editorial about the rape kit backlog. If you've got stacks of physical evidence of a crime and you're not doing everything you can with the evidence, then you must be making the decision that this isn't a very serious crime. So that decision has the power to traumatize rape victims further as they're seeking recovery and healing. So I think that by not testing the rape kits, that's what we're saying, is that it's not a serious crime. That's what I understand from the quote. As I said in my testimony, I feel that my role here is to use my voice to bring many voices forward, advocates in the field and survivors. So I'd like to consult them in answering your question. I want to make sure that I'm representing their needs and their concerns best. I am an advocate, but certainly not an expert, and I'm sitting among experts. So.
Do you think it would be worthwhile if the federal government and legislation were to require that every county or every city had a SANE program?
I do. I just participated in a video that they were made that actually taught medical personnel how to perform the kit, because oftentimes a rape victim is going through her test and she's lying on the table traumatized, and she's got the nurse or the doctor actually reading the rape kit's directions of how to perform the rape kit while the woman or man is lying on the table.
So obviously the SANE programs are very useful.
Yes.
And do you think it would be useful if the federal government required that every major locality had them?
No, it's not. And I think that's why my character has become so possible. I think I get a lot of fan mail saying, I wish the detective who handled my case was like you. And I think that one of the reasons I started Joyful Heart Foundation was to truly shed a light on something that people, for good reason, don't want to talk about. Sexual assault is a very scary thing to talk about. People are afraid of it. They don't have the language to talk about it. They're scared of what it will be. It'll rip apart families. It ruins lives. And these women, have shame on them that they don't know how to relieve themselves of. And so many times the shame is with the victim as opposed to the perpetrator. And so I think that's what, Joyful Heart is about, the courage to heal. And as Mr. Weiner said, the courage, it's about the courage. It takes so much for a survivor to come forward and to muster that courage, to come forward and then have nothing done about it. What are we saying? What are we telling? Who are we protecting? We're saying you don't matter. Lives are ruined because of it. People think nobody cares about me. I don't matter if this happens to me. And people are going, you know what, sweetie, you don't matter. That's what we're saying. I think that's why. And if, New York can do what it's done and get rid of the backlog, I feel that we can do it. There's so many components that obviously we have to take in, and this is why we're here today. Excuse me, and I'm so grateful to have all these minds together to figure out truly what can we do. But I think it is desperate, if we want to create the next generation of respectful, kind people that are not criminals. We need to educate them and shine a light on sexual assault and say what is acceptable, what is not. If you perform this crime, these are the ramifications. They must be tested. We are consciously letting criminals walk again. We are saying, it's okay, you can do it again. We are letting criminals go and saying, There are no consequences. Do it again 9 times. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. 13 years if a rape victim can't get the status of her DNA, of her rape kit? 13 years? 3 years? It's unacceptable.